I don't even know where to start in terms of, like, John, you may have a question, but like I'm just like so fascinated with the starting from dead scratch, like the motorcycle. How do you sell? I don't know. Maybe they just, let's say if I'm Joey Savatgy and somebody comes to me and like, hey, we got a brand new team, brand new bike, we've never made it. Like,
and you've never ridden it.
Right.
Nobody's ever ridden it.
But I'd like to sign you to ride it, but you've never ridden it. You've never seen it.
We've got some good guys involved, so you got to have to play on that. Like, hey, who's the guys involved?
You know, the hardest thing is that in this industry, you know, basically the race season starts October 1st and runs through September 30th. You know, by the time you get to A2 in the Supercross, you know, riders and agents are like, okay, let's start talking about contract extension or looking at other teams and things like that. And as there's only two people initially, you know, that are familiar with our sport and our industry, and that was Rod and I. And I'm trying to tell them, look, you know, our biggest challenge is perception. Perception's 80% of the battle, and you know, when I'm inviting riders and having them come and look at the facility and going over all those things, you know, I'm trying to sell the dream, you know, and then they turn around, they go to Mitch Baton's place, and he's got this nice.
You can look at it, you can touch it.
He's got this huge pipe shop there. They go to KTM. There's brand new $52 million facility, and I'm like, yeah, that 75-year-old barn over there, that's not going to be there.
It'll be there. Just imagine this.
We're going to take that. And
here's our concept drawing in watercolor.
Here's the concept.
Here's our Lego City model.
Yeah.
Yes, we painted the grass green.
You know, but I am fortunate, you know, like I have Scuba, Stephen Westfall is my crew chief. He's been with me for 16 years. When I called him and said, you know, I got a place for you, he said, and it's not an option, you know. You're coming, you know.
Well, and Bobby, you kind of present it like you had to sell the dream, but your legacy in the sport is secure. There's no, there's, you carry some weight with you. So if you call someone and say, hey man, here's what we're going to do, I want you to be part of it. I mean, I think it's coming from a really nice place.
Yeah, I don't view myself that way.
Of course
you know,
not.
I'm not a Ricky Carmichael. I'm not a 5-time world champion. I'm not Mitch Baker. You know, I've always felt like I'm kind of outside the box looking in. I do have a different.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
Especially for a new brand.
And I know that my management style and everything is completely different on many levels than other manufacturers. But you know, when I called Dave Arnold was retired, but Tomac was trying to get him, you know, full time with him as his. And help him develop the chassis with the Yamaha. And I told Dave, I go, you call John and tell him you've already got a job because you're coming to work for me.
He told Dave Arnold.
Nice. Yeah. To tell John Tomac.
You're done.
Sorry about your offer. The offer is off the table.
Which he did, and then, you know.
Cool.
You know, he's a Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
He's a legend. I could talk to Dave Arnold for months.
Oh.
He is unbelievable with the stuff he knows.
You know, and so having Scuba as my crew chief again, like I said, we've worked together for 16 years. We work very well together. Mm-hmm. Having Dave Arnold, I'd worked with him before, and having him come on, and then was still trying to see who I wanted to get for the powertrain. And I had heard that Dudley Kramer had retired and left KTM, and a lot of people don't know, it's, you know, the mechanics and everything are always in the background. I always tell everybody, look, it's the staff that's doing all the hard work. Unfortunately, I got to be the guy that's the face of it and the front of it, but the credit really goes to the guys in the back. And
that's what good leaders say.
That's
the truth.
And Dudley, you know, when it comes to the powertrain, he is Dave Arnold's equal on the chassis side of it. So when I found out that he had left his previous position, I think he was retired for about 24 hours. And
wow.
So you just put together this MVP team. We asked Rod, I'm like, who, like when you look around and you talk about all the guys that are involved, like that's probably, to me, if I'm a guy that's looking to jump on a team and I see you got Dave Arnold, you got Ricky involved, you got Triumph, you got this whatever it takes mentality to get it done. That's kind of attractive too, to do it on a new bike, maybe kind of create a legacy.
I mean, it's like when Ricky and JH first reached out to me, you know, they made it very clear. First, they wouldn't tell me who it was because I had signed the NDA. Second was they said.
Were you concerned it was Canada? Or you're like, I don't know.
No,
boys.
I'm not fronting, man.
I still have plenty of contacts, so I'm running through all the different scenarios in my head of, okay, well, I know this is going on over at this manufacturer. I thought it was one of the existing ones, and they're like, we have 6 that we're interviewing and doing our due diligence and going through. And I tell everybody jokingly, somewhat jokingly, but it's the truth. When you're not looking for a job, you can be really open and honest on, if I'm gonna lay it out.
Freedom, right there.
Hey,
Now's the time.
Now's the time, and I didn't sugarcoat it any at all, And so in my mind, I'm like, as I found out who a couple of the others were, I'm like, well, shit, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy. That guy's got a much bigger name than I do, and all that. And then
That's wild.
Then it went down to 4, and then it's like, okay, we're down to 2, and I'm like, I'm still surprised that I'm still one of the 2. And then they had called me about 6-8 weeks before A1, going into 22, and said, you're our guy. And
they didn't make you
they didn't tell
time you on an obstacle course or
no.
Yeah, no.
We got a couple
physical
guys
No,
we're
just
looking at.
Every time they called him, he's like, I don't care about your stupid job. Leave me alone.